When I first heard that I might have cancer, it took me a long time to process the information. We had no idea what kind of cancer it might be if I had it. Did I have, 4 weeks to live? Was it treatable?
I'll never forget when he told me he had this lump. I was sitting at my desk and he was in the bathroom and he was like, I think I have this thing over here. And I was so shocked. I was like, how long have you had that? And he said, oh, since September or something. It had been months. I didn't know that it was going to be cancer, but I just knew you don't leave something like that.
Then I went to see Dr. Nelson at UCI. He told me the diagnosis was that I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I remember walking away just kind of stunned about the whole thing. I was disappointed to find out that I couldn't go surfing anymore because I was just getting back into surfing after a long time of not surfing. I'd gotten this new surfboard with this crisscross wax job on it. It was the symbol for me of what I needed to do to get through this and to get back into my surfing. So that kind of stood as the symbol out there for where I needed to get.
It was honestly interesting sitting there as the wife because I was observing Dr. Nelson and he was so absorbed in my husband. You could just tell the intensity that he knew Charlie needed to have that level of support and understanding.
Cancer is different from many other diseases in that it comes with this huge emotional overlay. I tell my clinical fellows that if they don't believe that they should go out in front of the hospital and ask the first 100 people that come by how they want to die. Not one of them will say by cancer. It's a scary diagnosis, and it has this very intense emotional overlay that comes with it, and a good cancer physician needs to be aware of that and needs to take that into account.
The morning after the first chemo, he was just crying in bed because he thought, am I going to feel like this forever? And that was just after the first one. It does mess with your mind. And I remember we would do a lot of hiking together, talking about we have to get our estate in order, which, kind of freaked me out. We have a young daughter and that kind of thing. But, that makes you start thinking about those things.
My support system was my wife. She came with me to every doctor's appointment, to every treatment that I had, every chemotherapy session, and that was just absolutely huge, that support.
So the fact that it takes 20 years or thereabouts to get from a basic science discovery to something working and in the clinic means that the investments that we make now for basic research or clinical trials are really investments for our children and our grandchildren.
So one of the aspects of the partnership between the American Cancer Society and our Cancer Center that really impacts patients is helping to connect patients with a community of other cancer patients and their caregivers and cancer survivors. They don't have the breadth or depth of experience to be able to equip themselves and their family to be able to cope with their diagnosis and the treatment that they face. And I think that's one of the most important things that organizations like the American Cancer Society provide to us, because it provides a platform for those patients to be able to engage with others in the community that are dealing with similar issues.
I can envision a future where our patients pass with a diagnosis of cancer, but not because of it. And that is eliminating cancer as we know it. That simple act of ringing the bell, it's sort of like crossing the finish line of a big race. You've run the race, crossed the finish line, and there's this huge big relief. And if you've won the race, there's elation and joy.
1, 2, 3. I'd like to encourage people to consider supporting the American Cancer Society, whether it's with their time or if they're in a position to donate money. Cancer is something that impacts everyone in some way or another. I just encourage all of you to do what you can to help be a part of the process to support those who have cancer and to get the American Cancer Society the money and the resources they need to be able to find a way to end cancer as we understand it now, sooner than later.